everything that I know about marathon training is wrong. In this video, I'm going to tell you about 4 new to me training methods that I am incorporating in my 12-week build to the Buffalo Marathon. The first one is Zone 3 runs. This speaks directly against easy days easy, hard days hard. Easy days easy, hard days hard. If I had a nickel for every single time that I won the lottery, I would be a very rich man. Also, if I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say easy days easy, hard days hard, I could at least buy a Tesla, and then I would never need an oil change for the rest of my life. And in conversation, anytime oil change would come up, I would let everyone know that I drive a Tesla. Anyways, you see, I have always understood Zone 3 to be the forbidden gray zone. Runners are to never run in this zone. In fact, actually, in one of those Mandela effect deals, if you go back and look at it, the actual third rule of Fight Club is you do not run in Zone 3. This is a classic beginner mistake. They think they're running easy, which should be Zone 2, but they're running too hard. Their heart rate is taking them up into Zone 3, where there are no physiological adaptations happening at all. You do not run in Zone 3. Well, what if I told you that dreamt is the only English word that ends with the letters MT? However, if the Scream franchise made a prequel and they called it Scremt, I would totally allow it. I'd get the tickets on pre-sale. Also, what if I told you that there's room for Zone 3 runs in your training? You see, hard days should be hard. VO2 max workouts, threshold runs, fast finish long runs, and easy days should be easy the day after those runs to allow for most recovery. However, there are 7 days in a week, and some people follow a 9-day training cycle. So what do we do when we're not running really hard or running really easy? That's where we enter the Twilight Zone. So for a week with 3 harder efforts, it may look like this. Monday, off, cross-training or a recovery run. Tuesday, we've got some VO2 max intervals. Wednesday, a recovery run. Thursday, threshold run. Friday, recovery run, Zone 2 again. Saturday, the Zone 3 run. And Sunday is a long run, and the long run can also be progressive and start in Zone 2, build to Zone 3, and even get into threshold. So there's room for Zone 3 inside the long run as well. If you're doing a 9-day cycle, basically every 3rd day is going to be a harder effort followed by an easy run, and the rest of the runs are going to be Zone 3. So it may be recovery, Zone 3, VO2 max, recovery, Zone 3, threshold, recovery, Zone 3, long run. How I would define Zone 3 for me, how I know I'm in Zone 3, is that my heart rate sits around between 150 to 165 beats per minute. That is my HRR formula, my Kevorkian deal. And for pace, it's usually somewhere between 20 and 50 seconds behind marathon pace. So why am I incorporating Zone 3 runs into my training? 1, it helps open up my stride better than Zone 2 runs. Number 2, it gives me a lot of variety. And number 3, mainly, it increases the overall pace that I run my weekly mileage. New to me training runs that I'm adding into my training block. Number 2, low threshold runs. Okay, so this was a real whammy. One day after learning about Zone 3 runs, I wake up in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah, I'm dead the whole time. Yeah, I'm a ghost with multiple personalities. One of those personalities has superpowers, but unfortunately, none of those are super speed. So I have to get online and purchase a McMillan Plan and YouTube how to get faster. Who do I find but Sir Steven Scullion, 209 marathoner, talking about 2 different types of threshold runs. There's the standard threshold that I've always run, the LT1, but he's also talking about this second threshold run, this low-end aerobic threshold zone, which is not to be confused with LT1. Now, I think the standard definition in running for dummies or anything like that for threshold would be defined as comfortably hard. So this low-end threshold run would be more comfortable than it would be hard in the comfortably hard quotes. But wait, there's more! I dive into my McMillan training materials and find something called a steady state run. Now, Coach McMillan made a video on steady state runs. I'll leave it in the description below, but spoiler alert, Bruce Willis is dead the entire time. Holy shit, he's dead. And if you haven't seen it, that's on you, okay? Statute of limitations on spoiler alerts is like 2 weeks for TV shows and 2 years for movies. Sixth Sense came out 25 years ago, so that's on on you. Also, spoiler alert, McMillan's steady state running is exactly the same thing as Stephen Scollion's low aerobic threshold training. Holy shit. Now, how am I incorporating it into my training? For example, I'll use my McMillan Plan. Last week on Tuesday, there was a 60-minute easy run followed by 20 minutes at threshold. This would be the high-end threshold LT2. 2 days later, on Thursday, there was a 15 to 20 minute warm up and a 45-minute steady state run followed by a 15-minute cool down. This would be the low aerobic threshold pace. So why am I incorporating the steady state runs into my training plan? Because they are inside of my training plan. Why it works, it's faster than marathon pace. It makes marathon pace feel easier on race day. Hard days, maybe not so hard. The third training run that I am incorporating into this build is, please, if you have been entertained thus far at all, consider supporting the running community, hitting like, subscribe, or don't, because God gave us free will. So you do you. Choice is yours. I choose carbs. Every day. The third new to me training run that I'm incorporating in my 12-week build to Buffalo is the critical velocity run. Critical velocity is a pace that you could sustain for 30 to 40 minutes. Now, I first heard about critical velocity in an interview between Jeff Cunningham and Nick Bare, but then it resurfaced again as I dove into my McMillan Plan. See, the McMillan site has a calculator. You put a recent race time performance in and it spits out all your training paces. One of those training paces is critical velocity. So there it was again. My critical velocity pace is 6 minutes and 7 seconds. So this is faster than threshold, but short of VO2 max, somewhere in between. Effort-wise, it might be like an 8.75 out of 10. Maybe an 8K pace. Actually, this varies for everybody because every runner is different. For some people, it may be like a 5K pace. Elites and sub-elites, it could be like a 10K pace. However, it's a pace that you can sustain for 30 to 40 minutes. So why critical velocity training? Apparently, according to science, it helps with the fast twitch muscle fibers converting to slow twitch, fast twitch fibers, and also it helps with speed endurance without accumulating too much fatigue. So easy days easy, hard days hard-ish. And the fourth new to me training method that I am applying into my 12-week build to Buffalo is no days off. I am not going to take a single day off in the 8 weeks leading up to the Buffalo Marathon. Now, the first time I even heard about this notion was in an Extra Mileless podcast between Floris Gearman and 221 marathoner Jason Cherryman. And I scrimped. Wow, this must be something only 221 marathoners do. And then in the next 2 or 3 years, anytime I ran across somebody who never took a day off, I looked at him and I said, oh, you're one of those people. You're one of those people. You're one of those people. And then one day I find out Kafusi says he does it. And I think, you're one of those people? Wait a second. We're both the same age. We're about the same speed. We're both extremely handsome dads. Maybe I'm one of those people too? You're not. You should just cross train. On that note, I am not a cross trainer. I don't Zwift. I'm not a Zwifter. I've never Zwift. Though McMillan does have rest days built in where you can do nothing, you can cross train, where you can run some easy miles. And since I've gotten permission to run easy miles, I've been enabled, I'm going to do that. Why though? Mainly so that I can increase my mileage. Because as we all know, the #1 way to get faster is to increase your overall weekly mileage. Unless of course I'm absolutely wrong about that as well. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the bell notification. It's a small channel. You know, we get lost behind the algorithm and all that. So next week we have the full 100-mile review of the SC Trainer. I need your help. Please tune in and watch it. We've got to name the genre of this shoe. There's some wild analogies. Anyway, thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.